Booyah! Just like that, we are back in business. How are y'all doing on a lovely Wake 'em Up Wednesday? Ralph, are you ready to get this show started? Ralph is ready. Better question, are you ready to get this party started? You guys ready to have a good time tonight? All right. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome. Good to see you guys. I really am happy to be here tonight. And I have the most awesome audience. Before I even start the show, I had a few super chats come in, which is extremely kind of you guys. So I'm going to go back and read the pre-show super chats to get us started. Zach Hates YouTube with the first super chat of the night says, I heard the lead singer of Land on the Moon figured out they lied about the moon landings, so he wrote a parody of Return of the Doink about those moon landings he thought were real. This true? That is not exactly accurate, my friend. In fact, when the Indian moon rover landed on the moon, it was the most exhilarating and exciting experience of my life, my friend. It was the greatest achievement in the history of my prestigious country. In fact, when the rover landed on the moon officially, it was more exciting than the day my child was born, my friend. It was even more exciting when I fell in love for the first time. The most amazing experience of my life is when the rover touched down on the moon and began roving around. All right. Thank you for bringing up two of my comedic songs that I came up with. You know, funny thing about Land on the Moon is it started as a just a chorus during a video 2.5 years ago where I broke down the Indian fake moon landing. So it was nothing but a chorus, and then you guys requesting it. During live streams, I started adding on to the chorus. And then it turned into a whole song that I would perform here live. And we are 2.5 years removed from me making up Land on the Moon in that video. And people are still talking about it. Imagine that. My little parody Land on the Moon comedy song is sticking around longer than some hit songs that were on the radio for like a year, but then went out of style, right? There's songs that are like a hit for like a year, and then everyone forgets about it. And no one cares. 2.5 years later, still people talking about Land on the Moon. And it wasn't even a serious song. Speaking of, land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, we take it over, we go to the moon, and then you know we're gonna come back soon. We rove to the left, we rove to the right, cause beach, you know that we rove all night. We land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, and yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We take it over, rove to the moon. Yes, you know we're gonna come back soon. Rove to the top, rove down low. We rove so much we got no place to go. We land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon. Yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We take it over, rove to the moon. Yes, you know we're gonna come back soon. Rove to the east, rove to the west, cause bitch, you know that we rove the best. We land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, and yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We rove, rove, rove. Everybody say rove, 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 rover, rove, rove, rove. Come on, my friend, rove, rove, rove. Come on now, rove, 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 rover, rove, rove, rove. Rover. Row. Hey. Whew. Then, of course, Return of the Doink. I came up with Return of the Doink because of all the doinks going on in the NFL. So I took Return of the Mac and made a parody, Return of the Doink. That was many, many years later, of course. Actually, no, it wasn't that long later. So I actually came up with no satellites in space when I found out space was fake. So when I found out that outer space was fake, I wrote Scott Kelly is a liar, no satellites in space song. And then Land on the Moon was much later. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Zach, getting us started today. Got a new member, Danielle Kurtz. All right. Whew. Getting started with some Land on the Moon. You know it's going to be a good show. Doxological Thinker says, what are the chances Roseanne could do a Was Up tonight? Or Richie from Boston if you don't want to do Roseanne. That's a new comedic request that I have never been asked to do before. No one's ever asked me to do a Was Up in the style of some celebrity voice impression that I do. I like this comedic request. I think we could make this happen.
All right, everybody, we're going to get this show kicking off, but I want to get rid of all the fucking commies who might be tuned in right now. And one of the ways I like to get rid of the fucking commies is by saying, "What's up, Becky, darling DJ Dan, get down here, and the home of the brave." There. That ought to get rid of all the fucking commies who might be watching.
There you go. Roseanne doing the Was Up. We'll save Richie from Boston doing the Was Up for next time. All right. Roseanne doing the Was Up. You guys are good. You guys are coming up with some good requests tonight. All right. LaFleur coming in with a super chat says, thanks for having an open stream and having me on last week. Oh, well, thank you for coming on, buddy. Usually I expect that you're going to hit the StreamYard link and Holden will hit the StreamYard link. So there's people who I expect are going to show up, and you were one of them. So glad you made it on. There was a few weirdos who showed up to that stream, and there were some really nice guys as well. So it was like a mixed result. We had some really good, genuine people show up, right, and compliment me, which was awesome. And then we had some real, genuine shitbag shills show up, which was not so awesome. Thank you, Davey D. LaFleur, for being a longtime supporter of this stream, this program. I appreciate it, buddy. All right. So, guess we could dive into the show. Tonight, I have several clips for you. We're going to mix it up tonight, go from subject to subject. So I'm not going to try and like bog down the stream by talking about one boring thing for too long. So we're going to try and jump around from subject to subject, give you a little dose of everything tonight. So how does that sound? You guys ready to party, have some fun tonight? Let me pull up my watch page, make sure everything is on and popping, and we'll get started. All right. Oh, looks like Kevin Arnold sent a super chat, a super sticker. That is, let me pull up Kevin Arnold's super sticker. This is Kevin Arnold's super chat from the show, The Wonder Years. You guys remember The Wonder Years with Kevin Arnold? This is him. Not really. I just say that every time he sends me a super chat. Hi, Kevin. Thank you for the super sticker, buddy. Hyped. I'm hyped to get this show started. All right. You guys are awesome. And just before we start, I actually want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, for real. You guys are an awesome audience. And next month, we will be celebrating my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. I started in January 2016. We are less than a month away from my 10-year anniversary, celebrating 10 years, a decade here on this tube. So for those of you still supporting me, still supporting the real guy doing something real, I really appreciate it. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. If I didn't have an awesome audience like you guys, then this wouldn't even exist. So the fact that you guys are still here, we're still having fun, you guys are still supporting the show. We're going to keep rocking and rolling into 2026, y'all. 2025 was a bit of a tough year. You know, we made it through, me and Ralph, but I know a lot of people out there had a really tough 2025. I feel for you. If you're one of those people that had a rough 2025, 2026 hopefully will be better, but let's be honest, shit doesn't seem to be getting better. So let's try and have as much fun together as possible while this whole shit show goes up in shit flames around us, right? All right. Rough decade, dude. The 20s suck. Let me read a few comments from you guys, and then we'll get into our first news clip. Rose Bell says 2025 flew by. Thank you for being here tonight, Rose. One of my lovely moderators. Yes, it seems like the days just shoot by. And you know, it seems even worse during winter because it's dark at 5 o'clock. So I noticed that, like, I take Ralph out for a walk in the morning. And then, like, for instance, yesterday, I had to work on the top 10 most rigged plays like all day. And I'm like trying to get it done as quickly as possible on Tuesday so I can get it out because it's time sensitive. So I spend all day working on this video. And then by the time I finally finish it, it's like 4:30 and it's starting to get dark. And I take Ralph out again. I'm like, shit, the only time I saw the sun today was in these brief instances when I take my dog out for him to pee and shit. It's the only time I see the sun. So during this time of year, the days just shoot by extra fast, and then boom, before you know it, it's nighttime. I prefer the spring and the summer because of the extended daylight. Makes it seem like the days aren't shooting by as fast. All right. Suzette Ann's here. Glad you could make it. She says, we are the best audience. You guys are. I don't know what I would do without you guys. You know, you guys are like my support group, right? I only have a few family members left, and they're total sheep. They don't care to hear about any of the stuff I like to talk about. But you guys, you care to hear about the stuff I like to talk about. That's why you guys are the best audience. JP Crucino says, I wish I could give you $1 million, Jake. To your 10 years of being the real thing. Thank you, Sir Jake. 2026, Jake the Awake movie. We need to start fundraising for you now. Yeah, Kreger brought up the idea of making a movie. It just, you know, Hollywood's having a hard time creating movies these days, right? And just getting the people together and having the right idea, getting everyone on the same page. It seems like it would be an extremely hard task. So it wouldn't be impossible, but I'm still not sure about exactly what idea to make a whole movie about, right? So it would take some serious planning to pull off such a movie without it being just some turd, right? I wouldn't want to quickly throw together some turd of a movie, right? And time, of course, is of the essence. Time is money, and a lot of people right now are up against it. So trying to get people together to work on a movie it just seems like it would be an overwhelming task at this point. But I do like the idea, so there could be something to it. So possibly it could be something in the future that could one day happen if I could get my shit together and get all my ducks lined up. Thank you, JP Crucino, for supporting the channel. Multiple super chats, and you came on last week when I did the open panel stream, which was awesome. It was very nice to see your face and meet you. All right. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into our first clip. What do you guys think? Should we start with a bang bang powwow situation? Let's do that. Let's start with the recent bang bang pow pow situation going on in Westfield Valley Mall. All right. So this is the most recent bang bang pow pow shoot 'em up. We'll go ahead and get the mainstream report, and then we'll take a look at the alternative to the mainstream.
Start with breaking news this morning. Police arrested a suspect in the Black Friday shooting that injured at least 3 people at the Westfield Valley Fair Mall. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Stephanie Lynn. San Jose police just made this announcement in the last 30 minutes. Let's get straight to KRON 4's Will Tran, who is live in San Jose with the latest on that.
Looks like the Asians are taking over the American news. Ching chong, ching ching chong, lick a dick, lick a ding ding dong. Me Chinese, me play joke, me go pee pee in your coke gong.
Well,
the public can breathe a sigh of relief. It took a couple of days, but the San Jose Police Department finally, they say, arrested the man they believe was responsible for sending thousands of people running for their lives instead of running for deals. They ran out of the mall after shots rang out from the mall right behind me. Let me show you the picture that they just posted on X. They said, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. It took a couple of days. They blotted out his face.
There he is, you guys. Since he's a teenager, all they got to show you is a guy in a hoodie, handcuffed. That's all they got to show you. They caught the guy who did it for sure. See?
But they believe this is the man responsible for shooting 3 people on Black Friday at a time when thousands of people were out at around 5:40 on Friday evening having a good time with family.
Oh, what do you guys see? Tell me what you see in this picture. What pops out to you guys? I know that I have a smart audience who's got an eye for detail. You guys tell me what you see in this picture. What's popping out to you? It popped out to me immediately. Nothing? No, there's something. Ah, there you go. Masonic checkerboard floor. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, but you know, it is the fake news. They're using the number 3 and the Masonic checkerboard. Now check it out. This person right here with the gun, with the thumbs up, is signaling to these people in the mall to put their hands up. So it's like they're showing you that these people walking by the guy with the gun have to put their hands up. I'm just a shopper. Please don't shoot me. Watch.
And friends looking for deals when all of a sudden shots rang out. People ran to clothes racks to hide themselves. They ran out of the mall, through the neighborhoods, thinking it was a mass shooting. It was so bad that the San Jose Police Department, they actually increased patrols, had officers over the weekend to make sure that the shoppers were safe.
Look, guys, some dead clothes. If you have young ones in the room, please shield their eyes. Look, these clothes did not survive the mass attack. Very sad. You guys, I can send you a link where to send your donation for the dead clothes. How many of you guys would like to send donations for these clothes that didn't survive the shooting. This is how you know that it was super deadly. See these clothes on the floor? Yes. No blood, no bodies, but these clothes weren't so lucky.
While they were searching for this particular person, they did not go into detail as to exactly where this person was located, but they did say,
this is comical. Look at the way that people are like trotting out with their hands up. These are supposedly people that were at the mall when the shooting happened, and then you see them walking by. Here, check it out. Right? Here. Please don't shoot us. I'm just a regular mall shopper. I just went to the food court. I promise. I'm not a bad guy. Don't shoot me. Right? Put your hands up. We want to make sure none of you guys are shooters. We swear we're not shooters. We promise we're just regular shoppers. Come on. Come on. Get out of the mall. There's been a shooting. You guys need to exit right now with your hands in the air. Put them up. We promise it wasn't us. These guys, they got their Orange Julius. Is Orange Julius even still around? I don't even know.
they did say he was arrested last night. This all started with an altercation between, they say, this man and another man when shots rang out. That man was injured, along with a woman and a 16-year-old girl. They believe the woman and the 16-year-old girl were innocent bystanders. All three victims suffered non-life-threatening injuries. As far as the suspect, the San Jose Police Department,
So I saw a bunch of stock footage being used, right? Stock footage, stock footage, stock footage. Nothing happening here. Nothing happening. Clothes. Where's the shooting, bruh? So you're telling me we don't got a single cell phone shot of the action going down? We don't have a single cell phone shot of people screaming bloody murder, running for their lives. Nope. I didn't see a single shot. Seems the news wants us to believe this report. But all they're going to do is show us a parked cop car, some clothes on the floor, people standing around. We don't even get any images of the chaos that ensued, right? So it always comes down to these news stories cleverly editing and stitching together a bunch of shots that don't contain any actual shooting. But that's all you need. It's all you need to convince the sheep that this went down, and it's very sad.
patrols had officers over the weekend to make sure that the shoppers were safe.
This is the best part, the clothes on the ground. That's how you know some bad shit went down, you guys. That's how you know shit was serious. Did you see those clothes on the ground? That's how you know it was deadly. Recognize the aposematic signs, says Jake. You are the effing best. No AI and only the real. Get to 100K and that play button next to the hat on the light rod. Cheers. Earth is not a ball. Oh, thanks, man. So it's been a slow process getting to the 100,000. And during football season, we do gain subscribers. The bad news is once football season ends, that's usually a subscriber count will like flatline all throughout the summer, right? And whatever I put out is just like, until the next football season. But it looks like eventually we are going to hit the 100K and we'll get that play button sent out. So I guess I could decorate with it. I guess it would look good maybe right over here. Thank you very much. Recognize the aposematic signs. I appreciate the super chat a lot. And Earth, definitely not a ball. That's how the channel started. Me talking about Earth not being a ball. I still talk about Earth not being a ball, but now I've evolved into talking about so many different subjects, right? And I never knew when I started the channel that I was going to be the rigged NFL guy, right? So that just kind of happened. Crazy how shit works, right? 10 years ago, I decided I was going to fire up my phone in the living room and talk about how the Earth isn't a ball. And now here I am 10 years later, still running my mouth here on YouTube. Now I got me a built-in audience of awesome folks. Crazy. One night, one decision changed the whole course of my life. All right. So now that we saw the news clip, now we're going to check out the alternative news. So one of the channels I like to watch is The News is Fake 4. I've been a subscriber to this channel for several years. So check it out. We're going to check out The News is Fake 4. He put this video out 4 hours ago. So there's only 227 views so far. Not a lot, but we're going to help homeboy right here get some extra views on his channel. Shout out to The News is Fake 4. And away we go.
Breaking news in San Jose, a shooting at Valley Fair Mall on this Black Friday. Shots ringing out as the mall was packed with holiday shoppers. And at this hour, the search for the shooter is still on.
This is video from about an hour ago. Law enforcement with machine guns escorting people out of Macy's. They had to come out with their hands up as a safety procedure. These are shoppers and Macy's staff who are in a storage room sheltering in place. I spoke to one Macy's employee who told me just 4 days ago they had safety training. Just 4 days ago they had safety training. Just 4 days ago they had safety training.
You saying I got no brains?
I want to leave the house again. I'm laughing now because I'm traumatized, but
There's that Duper's Delight smile. I'm laughing now because I'm traumatized. It was just so traumatizing. I'm going to do an interview with the news telling you how traumatized I am. You might think that, like, I should be scared shitless and crying and not wanting to do a news interview, but you would be wrong.
traumatized, but I'm laughing now because I'm traumatized, but it was really terrifying. And like she said, it's not worth the 50% off.
Yeah. It was like totally not worth the 50% off to be involved in a mass shooting. I'm like traumatized now. Like, I'm totally going to be doing my shopping online from now on.
I'm only online shopping now. Like
I'm totally going to be online shopping. Yeah, I never expected I was going to be involved in a shooting. Like, whatever. It's like totally traumatizing. From now on, I'm just going to like shop from like Amazon and stuff.
come to the mall if this is like an actual possibility.
I'm telling you, this is life perspective changing and makes you reassess what you've been doing till now.
We heard like loud bang sounds, and so we didn't think much of it. We thought like maybe something fell or something, and then we heard it continuously, and then glass shattered, so we ducked in, and then we heard it continue.
Oh, a couple ching-chongs in the background, smiling, right? Because that's what bystanders do who are involved in a chaotic shooting. The bystanders, yeah, they stand around, smile in the background.
Continuously, and then
we were involved in shooting. We hang around. We smile on camera. Ching chong ricka ricka ding dong. Yes, I know that's racist, but it's also funny.
Thousands of shoppers at the mall for Black Friday stampeding to get out. or find shelter after hearing gunshots.
We heard what sounded like, to me, possible fireworks. In your brain, you want it to be fireworks, but we heard...
There it is, y'all, saying it sounded like fireworks. You know how many times that's been used? Whenever there's one of these bang, bang, pow, pow operations, you often hear witnesses say, it sounded like firecrackers. We thought it was fireworks. Oh, but then we figured out that it wasn't fireworks. And then we ran. So there's always this, it sounded like firecrackers. We thought it was fireworks line that reoccurs. If you guys have been following my channel or have been watching these operations go down for a number of years, you should know, you should remember that they reuse this same line over and over and over again. What are the chances that every person the news chooses to interview after every bang, bang, pow, pow incident, they all bring up how they thought it sounded like fireworks, right? But then it turned out not to be. Such a common thing. All right. James Matthew coming in with a super chat donation says, Jake, was the NFL always scripted or just in recent decades? And do you use cash apps? Hate seeing the tube taking such a big vig. So answering both those questions. So as far as the cash apps, I have my PayPal address in the description down below. So if you go to the description of this stream, you should see my PayPal address there where you can donate directly to me there. And then as far as the NFL is concerned, the rigging goes minimum back to Super Bowl III. So here's the thing. I didn't watch black and white NFL videos from the 50s and stuff, right? And I really don't feel like going back and like analyzing old videos from the 50s to see if it was rigged. But I reckon if I was to go back and study the old footage, I could probably find instances, even in the black and white TV days, even before the merger of the AFL and NFL, I could probably find guys missing tackles on purpose, quarterbacks throwing it right to the other team, guys putting the ball on the ground on purpose, right? So I will admit, I haven't went back and looked at the old black and white footage, but I'll bet if I did go back, I could probably find some examples of the product being rigged since its inception. But one thing I do know for sure is that Super Bowl III was for sure rigged and scripted for the New York Jets to win. The Jets were huge underdogs to the Baltimore Colts, and Joe Namath, the quarterback of the Jets beforehand, guaranteed with a smile on his face that the Jets were going to win that game, and they were 2 touchdown underdogs. And so to guarantee that you were going to win the Super Bowl at that time, it was kind of unheard of. And then the Jets ended up beating the Colts handily. And so then the AFL was looked at as a true competitor to the NFL. So the NFL with the Green Bay Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls, and the AFL was looked at as the inferior league. So in order to make the AFL appear to be equal to the NFL, they scripted the Jets to upset the Colts in Super Bowl III, and then the league merger was looked at as a success. So minimum, the rigging goes back to Super Bowl III. And my guess is the whole league was founded by gamblers. That's the story that I've heard, is that the league was founded entirely by gamblers so they could turn it into a product to be gambled upon. Thank you very much, James Matthew, for the super chat. And those are that's a great question that you asked, and I've been asked that several times about how far the rigging goes back. It damn sure goes back to before I was born. All right, LaFleur says, Davey D says, 400 plus in the chat. Smash the like button. Hey, that's a great idea. If you guys are having a good time so far, and we're just getting started, I got several more clips, more subjects we're going to dive into. So if you guys are having fun tonight, please do me the favor, hit the thumbs up button. It might seem like it matters, but it does. I noticed the videos where people hit the thumbs up more, the algorithm tends to promote it a little bit more. So the top 10s where more people hit the thumbs up ended up getting promoted more and got more views. Same thing with the streams. So please help do your part. It's quick and easy. Hook a brother up with a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. And it does help. Thank you, Davey D. I can always count on Shady Davey D to bring positivity into the stream. Not only is he a loyal subscriber, but he often will send super chats recommending that people hit the thumbs up. It's a very kind and generous thing to do, Davey. You are greatly appreciated in this community. SC Vermo Vermoegen Management. And sorry, man, these handles without the spaces, it makes it tough for me to like read people's name because there's no spaces. So some of these handles, I have a tough time reading them on the spot and figuring out where I should be adding the spaces. So thank you for the super chat. And he's asking, do you believe all sports, including FE tennis, is fixed, or do you believe only big US team sports are fixed? If former, how could that be orchestrated? Here is the rule of thumb, for me anyways. If there's a betting line, it's fixed. No exceptions. So if you can bet on it, it's fixed. So with football, there's small colleges like junior colleges where there's no betting line. Those teams are going to show up and play a real football game, and you're not going to be able to bet on the team that's much better to kick the shit out of the shitty junior college. It would be really easy to find a good junior college football team and bet on them to kick the shit out of a small junior college football team, because in real football, good teams fucking destroy bad teams. Any of you guys who played high school football and you were on a good team or a shit team, you know, in real football, good teams beat the shit out of bad teams. And so it only becomes a contest where the shitty team can pull off the upset when you get to D1 college and the pros. In D1 college, shitty small colleges can beat a big giant football school on any given Saturday. And in the pros, the shittiest last place team can beat the best team in the league any given Sunday. So basically, if there's a betting line, that's when you see the rigged, scripted shenanigans. That's when you see big upsets. That's when you see teams that are expected to win lose to the shit teams. So real athletic competitions, they aren't going to allow you to bet on it and make easy money. And that trickles down to whatever sport it is you're betting on. So college basketball, if there's a spread, them players are playing pretend basketball on the court. The refs on the court are under the thumb of the sports books. Whereas if it's a small college basketball game and there's no betting line, those kids are going to go out there and try their hardest to win, and you're not going to be allowed to bet on it. That is the rule of thumb. If there's a betting line, it's fixed. If there's a betting line, and you are rest assured that there are pieces in place to rug pull the public. All right. That's a great question as well, and I've been asked that question many times, and I'm always glad to answer it to help educate people as best as possible. Joshua Huffman with a donation says, is there any message being conveyed from this 6-7 meme? Honestly, I had to look up what the 6-7 thing was. And when I found out what it was, I was like, that's ridiculous and a waste of time. So you're never going to hear me say that, right? To me, that's like a stupid thing. And I had to look up what it is. And apparently it's like it's like a kid's meme And then because the kids are saying, oh, you know, like 6, 7, and then they keep repeating it, then fucking loser adults who want to be cool, then they start repeating it. And they don't even know why. So there's a bunch of people saying it because it became the thing to say because of a meme, right? So my guess is in another year, nobody's going to be saying that. And it's just going to be a here today, gone tomorrow type thing, right? It's not going to stick around. So not something that I care about or that you're going to hear me saying. I literally had to go look it up to see even what it is. And then when I found out, I was like, that's stupid. I'm not saying that. I don't care if all the kids think it's the cool thing to say. Jesse Lewis, 9911 says, speaking of rigging, I live in Ohio and they are debating if they want to play high school players to sports. Any thought from you and the chat? And they are debating if they want to play high school players play sports. I'm a bit confused by what you're saying. They're debating on whether people want to let their kids play high school sports. I know that there's a rise in parents not wanting their kids to play football because of the dangers, and people are realizing that their kids aren't going to go pro and make it to the NFL. So there's a decline in participation in sports. So is that what you're talking about? Because it's a bit confusing what you're asking. They are debating if they want to play high school players sports. Yeah, I think that's what you're asking. So apparently there's a rise in parents who don't want their kids to play high school football because not only can you get injured, right? People are realizing that the chance that their kid is going to go pro and make millions of dollars, people are realizing that that's a pipe dream. Whereas for decades, there were plenty of delusional parents, and I'm sure there still are plenty of delusional parents, but there is a plethora of delusional parents who think that their kid is going to go pro and make tons of money. So football, even at the high school level, in certain areas of the country draws huge crowds, and there's high school football games that draw thousands of people and college football games that draw tens of thousands of people. And so the thought going pro, you know, is the pipe dream that they sell a lot of these kids. And so people are finally realizing that the pipe dream of going pro probably isn't going to happen. So there, from what I'm hearing, there's a significant decrease in kids playing football. I think from what I've heard, there's a decrease in kids playing sports altogether. And it's changing preferences of today's youth. Today's youth would rather stare at their phone and play video games than go play a sport. Lemming in a shiny metal box says, Sir Jake, pleased to see you this evening. I am pleased to be here this evening with all of you fine people. You guys are the best audience on YouTube. And earlier in the stream, I thanked all of you guys. So if you missed it, I'm going to thank you again. You guys are a great audience, and we're almost at 10 years. We are less than a month away from celebrating 10 years here on YouTube. So thank you to everyone for supporting this channel. You guys are awesome. The best audience on YouTube. Sometimes the support from you guys is unreal. And I see other channels that might get more views and whatever, but when they go live, they don't have this genuine love and support from their audience like I do. And that's the difference between this channel and these other fly-by-night channels that just showed up peddling fucking doom and gloom, right? So there's a bunch of fly-by-night channels blowing up right now, sitting in their car, bitching and complaining, right? But they don't offer you any real laughs. They don't offer you any real insight into what's really going on in this world. And so we're going to keep rocking and rolling into 2026. We're going to keep doing our thing, just like we have been doing all these years. Jesse Lewis says, play high school sports for nil money like college sports. So apparently the kids in D1 are getting paid a little bit. And I know a lot of those kids are getting paid off underneath the table to take dives. So D1 college football is fixed every bit as much as the NFL. And you can see examples of college kids doing the same thing as the NFL players, diving at each other's feet, dropping balls on purpose, throwing interceptions on purpose, putting the ball on the ground on purpose. And then at the college level where there's no betting line, those kids are playing actual football, and the game looks completely different. If you want to see the difference in a fake college game and a real college game, go watch a junior college football game. Go to the nearest junior college and watch a football game. I swear it's like the pass rush when it's real looks entirely different. A real pass rush is trying to get to the quarterback. And so the quarterback is under pressure immediately. In a real game, the team that's inferior gets squashed, and it always happens at the line. The defensive linemen go right past the offensive linemen, and they get pressure on the quarterback immediately, like every time. And it's a struggle to move the ball. Whereas in the NFL, you'll see even bad teams, they'll have plays where like the offensive line blocks perfectly, and the quarterback gets to hang out in the pocket, go through his reads, look at three different receivers, and then the first lineman comes running up and the quarterback doesn't move and makes him fall down. Then he completes the ball. So the biggest farce in the NFL product is at the line of scrimmage. Hike! Ooh, the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman put on this fucking show where they pancake each other on the majority of the plays. A real pass rush, they don't fucking pancake each other like that for 4 or 5 straight seconds in a row. No, a real pass rush gets to that quarterback so fast. That's why in a real football game, if you go watch a high school game or a junior college game, the team that's better will typically throttle the bad team. And once the bad team gets down by like 3 touchdowns, they give up. They realize they're going to lose. And that's when it turns into a blowout. 50-0, 60-0. There's high school games where it's fucking 70-0. Good high school teams will smash a bad high school team, and the bad team has 0 chance at winning. But you get to the D1 college level, suddenly a top 10 ranked team will lose to a fucking unranked team with a losing record who's a 17-point underdog. Oh, because you can bet on that. Oh, and in the NFL, the fucking Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champs, will lose to the last place New York Giants any given Sunday. So the any given Saturday, any given Sunday shit only exists when there's big money on the line. Imagine that. When there's no money on the line, the good team kicks the shit out of the inferior team every time, and upsets are super rare. Don't believe me? If you've ever played high school football, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you were on a shit team, you knew you were going to get your ass kicked by those good teams. If you were on a good team, you knew you were going to wipe the floor with those bad teams. Any of you guys ever been on a high school football team where you showed up knowing you were going to beat the snot out of the team in front of you and they had 0 chance at beating you? Yeah, that's what real football does. One team destroys the other quickly. It's rare you can get 2 teams that are playing for real, where it's a good game and they have an equal skill set and can go toe-to-toe with each other. All right. AJ Native says, Jake, I turned $10 into $970 on Sunday night's fake football game on a 4-leg anytime TD parlay. Here is some money for Ralph. Wowzers. Dude, that is a crazy parlay. You know, parlays are considered suckers bets, but if you can hit one big one like that and make up for all your losses and come out ahead, well then shit, keep it up, man. I can never figure out who's going to score an anytime TD because in the NFL, they can have the backup tight end score the touchdown, right? They can have the backup running back score the touchdown. They can have the star running back take the ball all the way down the field to the 1, and then they'll have the backup quarterback or a backup to running back score the touchdown, right? Or they'll throw the out route to the number 4 wide receiver. So I noticed the NFL, they can rake money on those player props by having the players score the touchdowns who aren't the star players, right? So I can never figure out which player is going to have a good game. So I stay away personally from making bets on anytime touchdowns and stuff because I just can't figure out who's going to score the next touchdown or who's going to score in any given game. For all I know, whatever player I pick might exit the game in the first quarter with a fake injury, right? So if you're able to make that work, man, props to you. And thank you for hooking me up with a super chat donation. That is very, very generous of you. Spreading the love around. I appreciate it. AJ Native. All right. Vermogens Management says, agree on the NFL point, but betting line alone doesn't mean all tennis FE is fixed. Impossible. All the players, coaches equal silent and orchestrate. You are forgetting that gambling is a multi-billion-dollar operation and nothing is left to chance. I've heard this from tons of guys. Jake, I agree with you that the NFL is rigged, but not every player's in on it. Yes, every player's in on it. Yes, every coach is in on it. Name one player that plays their hardest on every down and never, ever plays fake football and always tries their hardest. I'll go find instances of that player doing phony shit on purpose, right? How can there be any players playing for real if all of their teammates are playing fake phony football? If the quarterback's throwing interceptions on purpose, if the wide receivers are dropping balls on purpose, if the running backs are fumbling on purpose, if the defense, the entire defense is mistackling on purpose, if the kickers are doinking the uprights over and over and over, if the kickers are seeing their kicks go left, right, and miss, you're telling me these players don't notice that their teammates are pretending to play? You're telling me the kickers don't notice that their kicks are being manipulated, that they don't say anything? All of the players are in on it. They have to be. You can't leave one guy on the field playing for real. He could screw up the entire play, screw up the result of the game. If you have 6, 7 guys half-assing it, not trying their hardest to run after the ball carrier, you can't have one guy playing for real run down the ball carrier, jump on his back and injure him when the script on that play is supposed to be that the running back takes it all the way for a touchdown. If a running back is scripted to break 4 or 5 tackles and take it in for a touchdown, that means they need 4 or 5 guys to dive at his feet and make him look spectacular on that play. You can't have some guy out there playing for real screw up the fucking script. So whenever someone claims, Jake, not everyone's in on it, that would be as stupid as thinking not everyone is in on the WWE being fake fighting. Everyone in the WWE has to be in on it. There's no one in the WWE who's fighting for real. It's not like, oh, Jake, John Cena fights for real. He's not in on it, Jake. John Cena's a real fighter. No. Goldberg was real and all the rest were fake, right? So there's no wrestlers who fight for real. All of that is a show. The NFL is no different than the WWE. The NFL is the WWE meets football. All of the players sign a non-disclosure agreement. Non-disclosure agreement means if you talk about the insider business secrets, the insider information going on inside that business that you're not allowed to talk about, they can sue you for your entire salary and damages. So the reason why you don't see coaches or players talking about how the NFL is fake, A, they want to make money on it, and they already have been making money on it. They've already pretended to play. So not many guys want to come out and say, yeah, I faked it all through college. I faked it all through my NFL career. Not many guys want to come out and admit that they are fucking frauds, right? So that's A. B, they signed a non-disclosure agreement. Legally, they're not allowed to come out and tell you that they played fake, phony football. Also, there's no money in blowing the whistle. A lot of people seem to think if there's a secret, you can just say it. And the TV's going to come running and put you on camera and hand you a bucket of money. The TV cameras aren't going to hand you a bucket of money and put you on TV and let you tell the story about how the NFL's fake. The TV stations show the NFL games. The TV stations have a vested interest in the NFL product. The TV stations that show the NFL product pay the NFL to show the NFL games. And then they sell advertising space during the NFL games. They are not going to let a guy like Dwight Smith, who came out and said that it's all entertainment and that the outcomes are predetermined. They're not going to let someone like Dwight Smith come on TV and spill the beans. So there are former players from the NFL who have admitted that it's all entertainment and that the outcomes are not settled on the field. But those guys' opinions get buried. They get dismissed. The fanboys say, oh, he's lying. Oh, he's just trying to make money because his career's over. Fanboys continue to believe that the product is real. That's what their business is built on, tricking fanboys into thinking it's real, tricking them into thinking that they know who's going to win, tricking them into making a bet on a product that is rigged and scripted. That's the whole business. Trick fanboys into thinking that they know enough about the teams or the players on the field that they know who's going to win. So you're talking about tennis. All you would need is to have the favorite tennis player, who's getting the most of the money bet on them, to go out and lose the big tennis match against the underdog tennis player, right? So you can have the favorite tennis player in a tournament automatically lose and get knocked out of the tournament early, and then they can rake that pile of money. And then in the next tournament, not as many people are betting on that tennis player. Then you have them win. So then in the next tournament, you have that same tennis player lose early again. So you can trick people into thinking someone's good or bad and get them to wager their hard-earned money. And so whatever sport it is, the players are just pretending to play. So they can get you to make a bad bet or get you to show up and buy a ticket and be a spectator. All right, got another super chat coming in asking me to do an impression of an NFL fanboy. One sec, let me pull it up. From Lintaway Air Duct Cleaning. All right. Let's see. Impression of a fanboy. I'm an NFL fanboy. I love the Philadelphia Eagles. I really hope that we win the Super Bowl again. We won the Super Bowl last year because we're the best at playing football. And by we, I like to include myself with the Philadelphia Eagles. I sit and watch the Eagles on TV, and I drink beer, and I wear another man's name on my back. I love wearing Eagles jerseys with other men's name on my back. I have the entire Eagles team line of jerseys. Each player on the Eagles is my favorite. And we won the Super Bowl because we're so good at football. I hope that we win the Super Bowl again. The greatest accomplishment in my life is when we won the Super Bowl that time against Tom Brady when we were underdogs. I remember when everyone thought that Tom Brady and the Patriots were going to beat us, but then we upset the Patriots. It was the greatest time of my life when I went to the Eagles parade. I went to the Eagles Super Bowl parade and I got drunk and I cheered when the Eagles players went by in the parade. It was the happiest day of my life. I remember what it was like to lose the Super Bowl against the Patriots. It sucked so bad. But then to see us finally break through and beat the Patriots, that had to be the greatest day of my life. And then the second time we won the Super Bowl, it wasn't quite as good as the first time, but it was still fun. I hope that we win again. When I watch the Philadelphia Eagles play on TV, I include myself because I'm a fan. And of course, I root. And when I root, I become part of the team. That's why I include myself whenever we win. There you go. There's your NFL fanboy impression. All right. Thank you very much, Lint Away Air Duct Cleaning. All right. So let's get back to the show. Thank you guys for the plethora of super chats that just came in. All right. So now I wanted to switch subjects. You guys, there are still people muzzling up in 2025. Do you guys still see people where you live? Now, I live in California, so of course there's some liberal sheeple who are still putting on masks. But I saw this video today, and there's some examples of people still masking up. So I might have to make a video about this soon. Check it out.
Got my KN95, so I went to the store in my P100. People are terrified.
Take me to your leader. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
Easiest and most effective form of protest you have right now that you can start immediately. Put a mask back on.
Yes.
Stop letting them observe your face and have the side benefit of better health and protecting the rest of us in the world. Put a mask back on.
Their latest.
Put a mask back on.
Yes.
Well, that's some wonderful advice, Mrs. Dykey Face McGee. But I think you should take your own advice and muzzle up that dykey face of yours so that I don't have to hear any more bullshit coming out of your dyke face mouth. Right? Like you're going to take advice from this fucking creature on screen right here who's not wearing a muzzle. Oh, why aren't you wearing a muzzle inside your house while you make this video? Seems like quite the hypocrite. You know that you have deadly disease spewing out of your face and it's microscopic and it floats in the air, right? So you're spewing disease out of your face, all these little spiky disease balls. And I'm sure some of those spiky disease balls are going to escape your apartment and might possibly kill an innocent bystander. So why don't you take your own advice, Dykey Face McGee, and muzzle up?
Stop letting them observe your face and have the side benefit of better health.
Stop letting them observe your face. You're on camera everywhere you go. At this point, people's televisions and refrigerators are spying on them, right? Everyone's got a phone with multiple cameras on it that are always spying on you. You're showing us your face right now. So why should anybody listen to your fucking retarded ass sheeple opinion?
And protecting the rest of us in the world. Put a mask back on.
Their latest fashion accessory.
I'm at the school bus stop, and hopefully I'll get this recorded before the bus gets here. But one thing I hear is about people who are actual, like, free thinkers and people who want to pretend to be free thinkers. Are free thinkers will go and research a topic and look into the topic, and people who want to look like they're free thinkers will ask you for your sources.
Hearing somebody who looks like this and is wearing a ritualistic shame muzzle, wearing a diaper on their face, gonna talk about do your own research. Get the fuck out of here with that diaper face. You wouldn't know real research if it hit you in the face. It's because you're too busy wearing a fucking diaper on your face. I can tell by the diaper on your face, you've never done any fucking research. What you did is you went straight to Google and you hear the mainstream news tell you that you can keep yourself safe from getting sick by wearing the ritualistic shame muzzle. So you strapped one to your face. And even when the rest of the normies finally stopped wearing them, you still got these individuals who are still wearing them. The level of brainwashing in 2020 was so bad. 6 years later, they're still affected by it, right? I know a lot of normies muzzled up back in 2020, but the majority of them don't anymore. But this just goes to show you the amount of psychological damage that was done back in 2020, 2021. We're going into 2026 now, and people are making fucking videos like this. And this person right here seems serious. This doesn't seem like rage bait. This seems like an actual mask-tard giving her actual opinion.
Nothing says free thinker like wearing a mask outside alone.
The easiest thing I've ever done to fight fascism is wear a mask. Hands down. Easiest, lowest effort thing. And I protect myself. I'm literally gaining something out of it. I never have to call out of work sick. I never have to skip something I've been looking forward to. I'm protected. And it's so easy. And I look cute. And mysterious. And not
That's debatable. Oh, yeah. Your looks improved by putting a diaper on your face. If your looks improve when the ritualistic shame muzzle is put over your schnoz, that's not a good sign.
everybody gets the privilege of looking at my face.
We may have different definitions of the word privilege.
All right, now that one does seem like rage bait. It's almost like she's trying to rage bait anyone who's against masks into commenting, right? She seems like she was trying to piss us off.
I looked at the wrists of the people in Walmart after a while, and I didn't see a single other blue bracelet. So I think I was in a bastion of people that would vote for a convicted felon, and I was wearing my KN95 mask and a surgical mask. So I was fully coordinated.
This reminds me of a bit, Kelly says, put a mask on. Yeah, you sure showed me. Well, as you know, as we were taught in 2020, putting a muzzle on keeps you safe, right? So if I do this and you're hanging out with me, I'm keeping you safe from me, right? Right? And if this was to happen, bum, 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 oh shit, now you're in danger. You're in danger that I might shoot spiky disease balls out of my mouth and nose in your general direction. And those spiky disease balls, they're microscopic. You can't see them. It floats in the air. And those spiky disease balls will go inside your mouth or up your nose, and they will make you sick. So by muzzling up, I'm keeping you safe, right? But now you're in danger. You better get away. Oh, it's okay. Now you're safe. But now you're in danger. But now you're safe. Now you're in danger. Now you're safe. Now you're in danger. Safe, danger, 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 safe, safe, you're in danger, but now you're safe. Now you're in danger, but now you're safe. Danger, safe, and the danger, safe. Danger, safe, danger, safe. All right, there you go. The danger safe joke. Haven't broke that one out in a while. That's a joke I came up with, or a bit that I came up with back in like 2021. Haven't had a chance to break it out in a while. Excellent. All right. Looks like it still works. Still a good bit. Sweet. Sweet. The laughing emojis lets me know that that bit has stood the test of time. In fact, having the muzzle on my face reminded me of a new impression that I've been working on. You guys tell me what you think. This is a brand new impression. This is my impression of Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies. Ready? Thank you. Exactly like Jason Voorhees, right? I don't think anyone does as good of a Jason Voorhees impression as me. There you go. Jason Voorhees. Hell yeah. And I see earlier Jesse Lewis sent 5 memberships to people here in chat. Thank you, Jesse Lewis. If you're still watching, I see on my watch page that you sent 5 Jake the Awake gift memberships. That is a really awesome thing of you to do. Thank you very much, Jesse Lewis, for sending the gifted memberships earlier. Fist bumps to you, sir. All right. Let's get back to the mask tardation, shall we?
Surgical mask. So I was fully coordinated.
So I'm not a fan of this lady's reactions, but I did want to show you guys the mask tards. So disregard this terrible reaction coming from this lady. Danielle is here. Haven't seen Danielle Funk in a while. Glad you could make it here tonight. Danielle's been watching the channel for probably close to the whole decade that we've been doing this. She goes back to the Flat Earth asshole days. Glad you're still here, still watching, Danielle. Nice to see you tonight. I might have to make my own video making fun of the mask tards and get rid of this black chick over here. Do my own reaction video.
Fully coordinated.
so strange, man.
Agreed.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself and the people around me. If you have a problem with that, that's your problem, not mine. Happy running. We're doing a 6-mile run today, and I'm feeling good.
Patriot tan line, liberal tan line.
So as I've been making more videos advocating for public masking, I've gotten some comments that have included some interesting reasoning for why people don't want to do that.
Yeah, here's some interesting reasoning. If you want to mask up, have fun with that. But nobody gives a fuck about your recommendation. Otherwise, they would already choose to wear a mask. So if people are already choosing not to wear a mask, who the fuck are you to recommend that we should mask up? We all get to make our own decisions. And my decision is to not wear a ritualistic shame muzzle and to laugh at people like you who have a fucking diaper on their face. Did you get comments like that? Because that's the type of comment I would leave if I saw your fucking video. That's the way these people should be treated over and over again in the comments section, so that they don't advocate for us masking up and they shut the fuck up and go away. If every single comment that they read is shut the fuck up and go away, if you want to wear a mask, go ahead and do that. But we don't need your opinion telling us what we should do with our lives, right? That should be like every comment in the comments section.
One of those reasons includes the idea that we have lost the battle with, and that there is kind of no putting the worms back in the can, so to speak. And while, yes, ideally, it would have been really cool if everybody had participated equally during the lockdown period of the beginning of the. And as we all know, that didn't happen, unfortunately. If you consider yourself to be someone who cares about their community or who just cares about other people.
Asthmatic says, she's so brave. No. She's noble and she's doing the right thing. She's more educated than all of us, right? So we're a bunch of uneducated morons going around making everyone sick, becoming increasingly more unhealthy. Whereas she is the educated one. She knows better than we do. And she's frustrated that she's unable to get us to make the exact same life decisions that she has made, which has led to her having such a wonderful fucking life. You can clearly see how happy she is. I got a super chat coming in from Nathaniel Arias. He says, I had a lady at Target get berserk on me during COVID for not wearing a mask. Oh, bro, we all did. Anybody who didn't wear a muzzle and went into a store got hassled by the employees and random shoppers. Both. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I got into a altercation, like a screaming match with just like random employees and other shoppers who weren't minding their own fucking business, right? Who were more interested in me not wearing a mask than doing their own damn shopping, right? As if I was like spewing disease particles in their direction. So yeah, I totally know what you mean. He said, I told her I can pull out my Trump MAGA mask. She threw herself on the ground and cried. I walked off laughing my ass off. She threw herself on the ground and cried? When you said you were going to pull out your Trump MAGA mask? I'm hoping you don't actually have a Trump MAGA mask. I'm hoping you were joking about that. Wow. Yeah, there were some people who went berserk at supermarkets, and I even made some videos about it that got some good traction back when it happened. So I remember posting a video from when maskless shoppers, there was like 10 maskless shoppers that went into a grocery store back in 2021, I want to say. And they were met with such vitriol that it caused this like chaos to ensue where the employees were trying to block them from shopping and saying, you can't shop here, please get out. And then they were going to do they were going to take their merchandise and put the money on the counter and just walk out because they were being told that they weren't allowed to shop. So it was like they brought the exact amount of money to pay for their item that they got, and they were just there to maskless shop, buy one item, pay for it with exact amount of cash, and then walk out. So it was like a form of protest, and it's still on my channel. And it caused such a chaos that it damn near shut down the store. The cops had to show up, but there was no legal right for the business to kick them out. There wasn't any legality as far as like forcing 10 people to leave the store for just wanting to shop there without a mask. So nobody got arrested. Nobody got a ticket or anything like that. So the cops did come, but nothing happened. So I noticed in situations where the cops got called about someone not wearing a mask, I never did see the cops arrest anyone for trying to go in the store without a mask. But yeah, it was a crazy time, man. I thought that we might be heading into another pandemic. It was looking like they were going to try and bring back the COVID again. So I was worried that we were going to be heading into another one of those, another pandemic. And they can pull that operation again at any point, and half the people or more are going to fall for it. Not as many people as last time will fall for another pandemic, but you got to figure half the people in the world or more will. That's all they need, right? Got a donation from Crowded Isolation. He says, the best thing to do is pretend they don't exist. Oh, just completely ignore them. Yeah, I don't go out of my way to like confront somebody if they're wearing a mask. Like if I see some old person in their car wearing a mask, I'm not going to like go out of my way to confront them, right? But if somebody like this girl right here is going to make a video and then I'm going to see it online, well, then I will go ahead and publicly shame that person, right? I'll go ahead and make fun of them to entertain you guys, because I know you guys feel the same way I do. If she wants to tell people to mask up, right? She can keep her stupid ass sheeple opinion to herself. None of us need to hear it. Thank you very much, Crowded Isolation, for the super chat donation. Kelly says, ugh, we're having a snowstorm. Yeah, you people over in the Northeast, you have those brutal winters. We don't get any snow where I live. It was still pretty chilly, though. Nathaniel Aria says, no Trump mask, just knew it would trigger her. Awesome. I'm glad you did not actually have a Trump mask. As you know, when I was president, I did recommend that you go ahead and you take your shot and you take your booster. I did it. It's good. It'll keep you safe. Some people, they want to make the choice not to get the shot or get the booster, and that's your choice. But me, I recommend that you take it. Keep your loved ones safe. Remember, Trump recommended people take the shot and the booster. He recommended the juice multiple times. But that's one of those things, people gave Trump a pass. People forgave him. But I still keep that clip handy. I always have the clips of Trump recommending that people go get jabbed. I always have the clip of Trump wearing a little hat at Israel, touching the wall, right? I will never forget. I got one more super chat and then we'll get back to the video. JP Crucino says, as far as wearing masks goes, I believe in using the sprouting tactic where you leave all or part of your nose showing. Oh, you mean the chin diaper, right? I think it's funny when people walk around with the chin diaper. Like, I think that wearing a mask keeps you safe, but I also think it's annoying to have it over my mouth and my nose. So I think I'm just going to do the chin diaper thing. It's good enough. This way, it keeps me safe, and I don't have to be annoyed by having a muzzle over my mouth and nose. This is the best. The chin diaper look is definitely the best of both worlds. It's like I get to appease the people who want me to wear a mask, but I don't have to go through the uncomfortableness of breathing in my own breath. Gotta love the chin diaper wearers, right?
Or just cares about their own health, I would implore you to reconsider your stance on public masking.
The only benefit of wearing masks is to help identify these people from a further range than their nose rings do. If they work, please explain this.
Is masking virtue signaling. Normally, I don't respond to anti-comments just because, like, I'm not for you, you're not for me, but I actually think this is a really important conversation to have in the COVID cautious community. Why am I masking? In 2022, 2023, when
the short answer, because you're a fucking sheeple ass tard muffin. That's the short, real answer. But go ahead, give us the long, drawn out bullshit answer.
A lot of people, most people, started unmasking, and it was putting a strain on my relationships, to be honest, that I was still so gung-ho about masking.
It was putting a strain on her relationships because she was being a total bitch trying to get everyone to wear a mask. And so she basically made life a living hell for anyone around her. Yeah, it strained her relationships. Yeah, you were the one who strained them by being a fucking mask tard and telling people how to live their lives. All right, Jesse Lewis says their new agenda is 2030, own nothing, and also kind of strange. They destroyed the Georgia Guidestones. Yeah, but they did the Georgia Guidestones destruction in a psychological operation sort of way, where they blew them up and made it look like, and they told people they were struck by lightning. So then they tricked Christians into thinking that God personally destroyed the Georgia Guidestones. There were Christians in my chat who were saying, Jake, did you see God struck the Georgia Guidestones with a lightning bolt? I was like, look, I don't want to diminish your faith in the Lord, but if the TV tells you that the Guidestones were struck by lightning and destroyed, that doesn't mean that that's a story that you should run with, right? So yeah, the Guidestones were destroyed on purpose, and they tied in this psychological operation that it was done by a lightning bolt, right? Which made religious people run with the theory that that it was God sending a message to the evil ones. It sounds good in their mind, but let's face it: the Georgia Guidestones were blown up, right? You could just blow them up with some M80s. And then add some special effects afterwards and be like, it was struck by lightning, right? That's all they would need to do. Just use some low level explosives and blow them up, and then add in the lightning artificially, right? Through editing. That's how you can trick everyone into thinking that God sent a lightning bolt to destroy those evil stones. Why wouldn't God send down a lightning bolt and kill the evil banksters who run this place? Why would he just only blow up the Georgia Guidestone? See? So yeah, anything where they cover up their own message, blow it up like that, it's more of a psychological operation on the people than it was anything else. And as far as own nothing and like it, yeah, they're in the process of that right now. except what's going to happen is people will own nothing and be miserable. They're going to sell you the idea of owning nothing and being happy, but what's going to happen? Everyone's going to own nothing and be fucking miserable. I think that's the plan. All right. Got another super chat that came in from Trout Fishing at Hood Park. Says, breathing your own CO2 is no way to go through life. Well, according to these people, it's the only way to go through life. And they're going as far as to recommend that you participate in breathing your own CO2. Trout Fishing at Hood Park, I appreciate the longtime support of the channel. I really, really do. You are a loyal viewer of the channel. You show up to a lot of the live streams. Not only do you participate, but you send super chats frequently, and you tend to have a positive message. You bring positivity to my streams. Thank you very much. Trout Fishing at Hood Park. I really, really appreciate the support from you guys. You longtime subscribers and supporters, you guys, I truly can't thank you enough. In fact, double fist bumps to the screen right now. Trout Fishing at Hood Park. Replacement skylights. Another guy who has donated several times to the channel in the past and who's shown up to plenty of streams. He says, just got here. Have you done Jason Brashear's impression yet? I have not done an Archaic's impression tonight, but let me tell you something, brother. I have been working on some software, and it is indeed going to prove that we live in a simulation. Right now, I got people helping me develop this new technology. It's going to literally tell us what is going to happen in Vegas during key sporting events. What we are going to do is we are going to unlock the knowledge that we do live in a simulation, brother, and the outcomes to these sporting events are scripted, not by the people who run the sporting leagues, but by the Matrix itself. So these outcomes are destined to happen. And so if we can figure out what is destined to happen in the future with this software, we are going to revolutionize the way that we generate wealth. And I'm willing to sell you my technology. I will sell you my thumb drive with all the technology which proves that we indeed live in a matrix. I'll sell it to you for $500. You will be making a six-figure income if you buy my technology, which proves that we do live in a matrix. I drink my coffee with bourbon whiskey every morning. Helps me get up and excited for these live streams. There you go. There's a little Archaic's for you. Thank you, Replacement Skylights, for your super chat requesting that I do a Jason Brashear's impression. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. All right, looks like we're all caught up.
And there's so much trauma and so much just emotion around it that I was having a really hard time figuring out, am I masking because it's in my values and it's what feels good for me and my family, or am I doing it to belong to a group of people that I don't even know?
You're doing it because you are a virtue signaling fucking libtard sheeple. That's why you're doing it. You're doing it to make yourself look good for a group of people who are fucking retarded. That's what's going on. The rest of us who know that wearing a diaper on your face is ridiculous and bad for you, Yeah, we're laughing at you. Literally right now, we're laughing at you. Ha ha, look at this chick. Got a diaper on her face, talking about how she doesn't know if she's virtue signaling or what she's really doing. She's confused by her own behavior. You can tell by the fact she's making this video and saying this. She doesn't fully believe in what she's doing. So she's looking for validation for what she's doing.
The internet for some kind of like moral superiority, because that's like what virtue signaling is, right?
That is nuts.
Jesse Lewis says, can we get Elmo versus Beavis and Butthead debating about being president of Cartoon Network? President of Cartoon Network.
Elmo would like to take this time to ask you for your vote so that Elmo can become president of the Cartoon Network. Even though Elmo is not a cartoon, Elmo is a puppet. Elmo still thinks that he would do an exceptional job at being the president of the Cartoon Network. Elmo has been educating children on Sesame Street for many years, and there is no other candidate that has more qualifications than Elmo.
Shut up.
Yeah, really. Shut up. Nobody cares what you have to say, Elmo.
Yeah. We're like the coolest cartoons that have like ever existed.
Yeah. We rock. Yeah. That's why you should like vote for us to be the president of Cartoon Network.
Yeah. If you vote for us, we're going to like bring chicks on screen with big thingies.
Yeah. And the chicks' nipples are going to be pierced. It's going to be cool. Hey, Butthead, when like we become president, do you think like more chicks are going to want to like score with us?
Well, they're definitely going to want to score with me. But none of them are going to want to score with you because you're a lonely monkey spanker.
Shut up, Butthead. No way. If I become president, I'm going to finally get to score. It's going to be cool. I'm going to score with a chick with big thingies and nipple rings. Elmo thinks that if you vote for Beavis and Butthead, you are doing a disservice to yourself and the Cartoon Network. You should never vote for these two dumbasses. They're nothing but a couple of monkey spankers. Shut up, asshole. You don't even have a schlong because you're like a puppet.
Yeah, Elmo can't even spank his monkey because he doesn't have a monkey to spank.
Yeah.
You don't even have a monkey to spank. There you go. That was more fun than I thought it was going to be. Elmo and Beavis and Butthead. There you go. I don't know if there's another comic who could make that happen. You guys know that's like a Jake the Awake exclusive right there. You would be very hard pressed to try and find another comedian who could bring that premise to life, such as yours truly. And that's what separates me from the rest. Real, genuine comedy from a real, genuine guy responding to a real, genuine request from a real, genuine person. It's almost like this is the way YouTube is supposed to be, right?
Wow. If you need a community that badly, join a bowling league, man. This is out of control.
It's to signal like, oh, I'm one of the good ones. Like, it's to put yourself in a place of moral superiority, and that's not really in my values. So I really had to think about it. And obviously I came to the conclusion that I think it's a good thing to mask, that's what's best for me. That's what's best for my family. And I learned still, and still I'm learning how to have connection, have relationships with people who don't mask as much as I do. If I'm not virtue signaling,
She's learning how to have relationships with people who don't mask. Oh, you mean like the majority of the fucking world who's not a ridiculous piece of shit virtue signaler like you? You're finding it trouble to have a relationship with people like us? Yeah, that's because people like me, my audience, you know, us, those of us who don't wear a diaper on our face, that's because we don't want to fucking hang around with your virtue signaling ass. Yeah. We think that you are stupid. We think that you look ridiculous. So yeah, I bet you're having a tough time trying to have a relationship with us because none of us want to have a relationship with you. I'm finding I'm having a hard time having a relationship with people who don't wear a diaper on their face. Oh, you poor thing. You're finding it hard to have a relationship with people who don't wear a diaper on their face? Oh, that's so sad. Oh, let's go ahead and feel sorry for this girl and try and hook her up with a diaper face community that will make her feel better about herself. Go find your own diaper face community. Why should us non-diaper face wearers give a shit how you feel?
why do I make videos of myself in a mask? I make videos of me wearing a mask because when you're in an out group, and at this point, people who mask, we're in an out group, the majority of people don't mask. And as I said before, there's so many feelings around masking that there can be a lot of derision, right, when you do mask. So I make videos masking to form connection with other people who do mask.
She makes content specifically to form connections with people who like to wear diapers on their face.
I make content for people who are fucking stupid like me. I find it hard to be friends with people who aren't fucking stupid like me. So I specifically go out of my way to create fucking stupid content so that I can attract fucking stupid people who might want to fucking hang out with my stupid fucking ass.
Mask-tard content, right? Specifically to attract other mask-tards.
I find it challenging to find other mask-tards, so I create mask-tard content to attract mask-tards so that I can create a community of mask-tards to be mask-tarded with.
Essentially, that's what she's saying.
That is the purpose. When you see me in a mask, I if you noticed, I never say you should mask or whatever. I do it to form connection. So those are my thoughts on masking and virtue signaling. I would love to hear like any other opinions. Just because, like I said, I think it's really important that we're not masking out of a place of moral superiority or to like lord it over other people, but we're doing it because it's in our values and disability justice, not getting sick. Those are in my values.
Not getting sick. That was the biggest lie they sold these sheeple, is that it protects you. So then if you're somebody like me, who very rarely gets sick and who doesn't wear one, someone like me who let people cough in my face at the height of the pandemic to prove there's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, you have to make up shit in your head to why I am healthier than this chick. I would say that I have a better body weight index, right? I'm more proportional with my body weight. I don't have to see the rest of her. I can just tell she is morbidly obese. She is not in great shape, not healthier than me. So she has to do mental gymnastics for why she thinks she's healthier than someone like me, who did all these dangerous things, like let people cough in my face during the height of the pandemic, She would have to do some serious fucking mental gymnastics if she found out I never got jabbed, never took any boosters, never got sick. Yeah. What sort of mental gymnastics does a person like this have to tell themselves if they come across an individual like me who never got sick, still doesn't get sick, still healthier than she is, right? I'd love to be inside of her head hearing the mental gymnastics go down. Well, this guy's eventually going to get sick if he keeps this up. Yeah, that's it. This guy Jake will eventually get really sick and he'll regret not wearing a mask. That's the only thing she could probably come up with. If you were to ask this chick, what about Jake the Awake? He never gets sick and he let people cough in his face during the pandemic. What about him? Oh, well, he just got really lucky. He's probably going to get really sick soon. Yeah, he'll probably die soon. Right? It's like the people who lost their life after they got jabbed. They'd be like, yeah, well, they would have died sooner had they not got jabbed. Right? Like the people who had a health issue shortly after getting jabbed and then they died. Yeah, well, they would have died a lot sooner had they not got jabbed.
Those are my values.
But I'm trying to enjoy my summer. I'm not trying to be a sicky. So what I'm gonna do to try to minimize that risk as much as possible is I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look good while I do it. Wow, what a concept. Wow, I do this when I share public air. Whoa. Also remember, you can do everything to a T to try to protect yourself and your community as much as possible, and you can still get sick, and that is not a moral failing. And if you choose not to do your job by protecting your community and layering mitigations, may the odds be ever in your favor.
I'm keeping the mosquitoes out. You can use my Buy Me a Coffee link to buy Leroy a dog treat. Leroy, stop that. You're so cute. Oh, I love you. I love you. You guys steal the show. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Red Dawn Daily with your host, me, Dawn Marie, and sometimes Leroy. Leroy, you're not bored, are you? Leroy, did you know?
All right. So check it out. This last chick, I want to point out. So before you even hear anything come out of her mouth, before she starts talking, before she puts the muzzle on, she's not a bad looking woman, right? She's kind of cute, I would say. But the second she opens her mouth and starts speaking and then puts on that muzzle, instantly turned off. Instantly, her personality becomes fucking repulsive, right? So if this chick right here was to just say something intelligent and not put on the mask, I'd be like, oh, she's cute. But now, since she opened her mouth and talked about how we should be wearing masks and we share the same air, and then she muzzled up, she became physically unattractive. Funny how muzzling up makes you physically unattractive to a man who's awake.
I'm trying to enjoy my summer. I'm not trying to be a sicky. So what I'm gonna do to try to minimize that risk as much as possible is I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look good while I do it. Wow, what a concept.
Instantly became fucking ugly, right? Come on, guys, be honest. I mean, this smirk on her face isn't doing her any favors, but she's not like a terrible looking chick. She's kind of cute, maybe. But the second she opens her mouth, it's like, ah, shut up. We don't want to hear this. And then she sticks the diaper on her face, like, nope. I would be ashamed to fuck you. If anyone found out that I slept with this chick, they'd be like, you slept with that chick who has the diaper on her face, who fucking virtue signals that we should wear a mask because we're sharing the same air. You should be ashamed of yourself, Jake. I'm like, I know. I made a mistake.
Summer, I'm not trying to be a sicky. So what I'm gonna do to try to minimize that risk as much as possible is I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look good while I do it. Wow. What a concept. Wow. I do this when I share public air? Whoa. Whoa. Also, remember, you can do everything to a T to try to protect yourself and your community as much as possible, and you can still get sick, and that is not a moral failing. And if you choose...
Yeah, you can still get sick. You can take 6 jabs and 6 boosters and wear 6 masks. 6, 6, 6. And guess what? You're more likely to test positive for the COVID than me. Yeah. How about that? Those people that took the jab, got boosted, still test positive for the COVID. Oh, but I thought I took the vax and that I am safe from it. Oh, well, the vax protects you, but not completely. And you can still get sick. Meanwhile, Jake, who never took any of the jabs or the boosters, yeah, he doesn't ever get sick. And you know what else Jake doesn't do? Yeah, he doesn't ever get tested. He never lets somebody tell him he tested positive for the COVID. That's one of the ways they get you. If they get you to test positive for something, you can feel fine, but they can still convince you that you're sick with something, right? So there's people who are like, I don't have any symptoms, but I tested positive for the COVID. So I guess I must be sick. I must have it. Davey D says, #1 truther source right here, Jake the Awake. Thank you very much, Davey D. There's multiple super chats tonight. If you guys are still having fun hanging out with me on Wake 'em Up Wednesday, hook a brother up with a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps YouTube recommend this content. So if you haven't done so already, real quick, right now, hit the thumbs up button. Everybody watching right now, whether you're watching the replay or whether you're watching live, take this second to hook your boy up with a thumbs up. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Do it. Yeah, man, come on, man. It's quick and it's easy. Give us the thumbs up, man. Yeah, man, you need to get off your ass right now and hit that thumbs up button, man. It would be like greatly appreciated and stuff, Holmes. Yeah, man. If you hook me up with a thumbs up, man, I'm going to get like really high, man, and then I'll like sing a song or something, man. Yeah, man, we're gonna sing a song for you. We're gonna sing a song called Love Machine. It goes like this, man. It goes, hey, I'm just a love machine, and I don't work for nobody but you. Now when my temperature rise, and then I go for her thighs, and then I say, guacamole machu. Guacamole machu. Oh, that's a righteous song, man. We should like record that on like a CD or something, man. Nah, man, CDs are old now, man. We need to like record like a DVD or something, man. You need to get with the times, man. Oh, far out, man. All right. You just got a random Cheech and Chong impression out of nowhere. For what reason? I don't know exactly. Sometimes impressions just happen. I think I'm done with the maskers. We'll move on to the next video clip. So yeah, still people are masking up in 2025, and they have the audacity to try and get others to mask up as well. All right. So guys, I started this channel 10 years ago, busting NASA's balls. So I thought tonight we could go back to where it all started, go back to the well, and bust NASA's balls here live together. Except we're going to take a look at the most recent footage from the space station. Can you guys believe NASA is still perpetrating this monumental lie? This absolute ridiculous notion that people live in the space station and that they're up there right now. So this is the most recent video from the space station. This is the most recent crew. So I went to, I'll show you guys the video before we start. So this is official NASA channel from 8 days ago. 33,000 views. How about that? They figure out a way to get their 33 in there. And they haven't posted anything on the NASA channel, which has 12.5 million subscribers. Check it out. If we go to the NASA channel, this is the most recent video. So the NASA channel hasn't been pumping out very much content lately, but the last piece of footage that they put out from the space station, we'll go ahead and check it out. Space station astronauts deliver a Thanksgiving message. So let's go ahead and break down together as a team the NASA astronauts on the space station. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the International Space Station. We've been thinking a lot about the holidays that are coming up, and I wanted to check in with my crewmates and just start talking about that holiday season. Johnny, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Yeah, Thanksgiving for me is always a time to kind of pause and slow down and reflect on our lives, the people we cherish in our lives, and all the support we've had on this journey. In particular for this year, I get to spend it up with you all up here in space. So I feel very blessed. And
he feels blessed to spend Thanksgiving with other astronauts inside of a fucking metal tube where you could die at any second. Like if anything goes catastrophically wrong in space station kayfabe, like if we're to believe in a such thing called the space station, then that means their life could end at any second if anything goes wrong. And they're gonna not spend the holidays with their family and instead hang out inside of a metal tube floating around in space. Why? Why does NASA need a crew up there on Thanksgiving during the holidays? What exactly are they doing? I've brought this up before, like, the space station's been around a long time. What in the hell is there even left to do on the space station? What sort of space station work are these people doing in 2025? Looks to me like their job is to tell us about that they're spending their Thanksgiving on the space station. It seems like the space station crew only exists to tell us that they're on the space station and what life is like on the space station. They've been doing that for like 20 years or whatever, right? The space station's been around for so damn long that like there isn't any actual work that you could be possibly doing up there that hasn't already been done. Like what sort of space experiments are being done in 2025 that they haven't already thought to do? So whenever they show these people on screen and talk to them, they're always like, yeah, we're here on the space station, and this is what life is like on the space station. Here's what we eat on the space station. Here's how we take a shit on the space station. Like you told us that last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. So they're keeping the space station lie alive, but they don't have anything new for the space station crew to do besides talk about how they live on the fucking space station. So they just keep repeating the same shit and then twirling objects in front of us.
And honored to share that time with you, but at the same time, think a lot about my friends and family and everyone who supported me along this journey. And I think if I had to choose one word, it's just gratitude. I'm very, very grateful for that. Kimia, what does Thanksgiving mean for you, and what are you looking forward to doing up here for Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Johnny-san, thank you for asking. We don't have any like Thanksgiving in Japan, but since here, ISS, everybody respects each other's culture
We are now have a Thanksgiving in Japan, but here on Space Station, we celebrate the Thanksgiving and very blessed and thankful.
Sorry. So I really respect Thanksgiving.
You know what this reminds me of, guys? Deck the hall with bow ra rory, ra 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 ra. 'Tis the season to be rory, ra 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 ra. Spending Christmas in space station, ra 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 ra. Me Chinese and me play joke. Me go pee-pee inside your Coke. Happy holidays from the space station.
That's very good tradition. Show some like a respect and also like appreciation to others. So I'd like to enjoy that holiday, and actually looking forward to eat some like a special dinner or something like that for the US. So do you have any like a special plan?
We're very looking forward to floating Christmas dinner. Christmas dinner on the space station, it always floating away. One of the most challenging aspects of Thanksgiving dinner is that the turkey floats away when you try to eat it.
Guys, for the food?
Yeah, for the food. So one of my favorite parts of Thanksgiving. This is my second Thanksgiving in space, so I highly recommend it.
This guy spent more than one Thanksgiving in space, and he's going to tell us what he highly recommends. Look at the goofy smiles. They always have the goofiest fucking smiles. They're always like, I'm away from my family, hanging out inside of a metal tube. This is my second time spending Thanksgiving with a bunch of people I work with inside of a metal tube where we could die at any moment. I'm going to spend Christmas inside here. My kids at home miss Daddy, but they know I'm here doing important work on the space station. You know, like holding food and spinning it around, proving that we're in space. That's what they do. Watch, they're going to go into their spin an object and let it float in front of you routine. They got to do that every time they're on camera. They got to be like, look at this, it's floating. See, we're in space. You could tell by the floating object that we're holding. We have to hold something that's floating so that you know we're in space.
Time was with the shuttle crew, and it was amazing. And this time it's going to be with the new Soyuz crew, and we're getting food ready. So we have like the traditions of turkey. There's some cranberry sauce here. In fact, I'm going to just toss these out a little bit. This cranberry sauce is actually kind of Russian cranberries, so it's kind of neat to have that up here because that's one of my favorite parts.
Ooh, floating Russian cranberry sauce. How cool. Yeah, see, this is the part where they go into the we're seriously in outer space. Look at these floating objects routine. You can always count on space station crew members to hold an object and let it float around and spin it around in front of them to prove that they're for sure in outer space, man.
And I'm gonna miss my family, of course. And but I'm up here with my space family, and it's really awesome. And so we're looking forward to.
He's gonna miss his real family, but he thinks his space family is even more awesome than his boring ass regular family on Earth. So he's having a super spectacular time hanging out inside the metal tube, floating around with his fucking Russian cranberry sauce in a can. Yeah, man, it looks really awesome up there.
The food up here in the company. And Zena, is this the only food we have?
Yes, that's the only food you have. You guys are all going to starve and die. Nathaniel Arias says, shitty walk, shitty fried rice here in South Park. Oh, you come to shitty walk, have a shitty fried rice. You come to South Park for shitty walk, fried rice.
No, thank you. Me Chinese, me play joke. Me go pee-pee in your Coke. You American have very large penis. Me Asian, very tiny pee-pee. Asian have a very small penis. You American, very big penis.
I think that's an old South Park clip from a long time ago. All right. If not, it should be.
Well, I know, Mike, this is not the only food we have. I think food is a really important part of everyday life up here and staying happy and healthy, and we share a lot of meals.
Food is an important part of living in the space station. See? All this vacuum-packed space food. It's very important so that they stay healthy. Oh, I didn't know that. No one told us that in 2024 or 2023 or back in fucking 2000, right? So as long as the space station's been around, no one's ever thought to tell us that food is important. This is brand new, earth-shattering news, right? This is very important to find out that food is important on the space station, you guys. We would have never known that food is important on the space station had we not taken the time to watch this.
And so this one's just going to be extra special. And our ground teams and the food lab at NASA have taken such great care of us that we have a very special food holiday bag here. We've got everything from turkey and the traditional things that Mike mentioned, some mashed potatoes.
They got some traditional turkey vacuum sealed in this fucking floating space package. And they're excited about having an awesome Thanksgiving dinner away from their families, eating this vacuum-packed fucking floating shit. Yay! So awesome! It looks like so much fun! I don't know about you guys, but I am freaking jealous that I'm a normal guy here on Earth and I don't get to partake in any of the vacuum-sealed fucking space turkey. I am jealous that I do not get to gorge my face with any of the powdered vacuum-sealed space gravy.
To crab meat, salmon. We've even got...
Oh, yeah, vacuum-packed salmon and crab meat, which is super fresh, right? The most fresh vacuum-packed space crab meat you could ever eat. It's very exciting.
Lobster, which is amazing.
Lobster! God damn, you guys are eating like freaking royalty, right? All of that packed in the space package. A crab, lobster, turkey. They have a fucking 5-course meal vacuum packed inside the space package floating right there. So exciting for them. I'm so jealous. Me and my poor ass family had a home-cooked chicken meal for Thanksgiving. Nothing as fancy as this vacuum-packed space turkey.
So I think it's going to be a really, really delicious meal, and I can't wait to share it with everyone, including our new crewmates who are launching on a Soyuz rocket on Thanksgiving Day. That's going to be really exciting. Yeah, this is marking also the end of your mission with us, Johnny. And so thinking about our new crew members coming up and sharing that Thanksgiving meal together, how does that make you feel?
Before we get to how Thanksgiving makes him feel, had a super chat come in. So yeah, guys, they're still running this same routine. 720 pixelation, right? So they can't even give us HD footage. Like I have a 4K camera. A lot of people have, 4K camera on their phones and whatnot. But the space station footage, check it out. Space station footage, the best you get is 720. The best quality. Gee, I wonder why. The best quality we get from fucking NASA who gets like what, the hundreds of $1 million a day and billions of dollars annually. The best quality they can give us is 720. How about that? Oh, and check it out. They turned the comments off. Local reviewer says, space station is real. My dad works there. Yeah, man. If your dad works there, then there's no way that what they're doing on screen is fake. For sure. Of course, as long as your dad works there, then we know it can't be fake. Thank you very much, local reviewer. So check it out, y'all. NASA, with 12.5 million subs, puts this out 8 days ago. Turns off the comments. It's almost like they don't want anyone to show up to the comment section and talk about how it's fake. Almost like they've had a plethora of people show up and talk about how fake this is. So they decided to just shut down the comment section. Why would the government, right? The government is NASA. If they've got all these subscribers in this YouTube channel and they're taking the time to show us what's going on the space station. Gee, why are they shutting off the comments? Wonder if it's because so many people are calling it fake, phony, fraudulent. Maybe that's why. All right. Now, 2025 going into 2026, and look at the technology. Look at these old laptops. You would think that in 2026, they'd finally update the space station. But I'll bet you it's going to keep looking this way until they finally shut it down. So they're supposed to decommission the space station in the year 2030. But until then, they have no problem with all their laptops and wires just hanging and dangling about. So I've said for years, it's ridiculous they have all these wires hanging and dangling and everybody's floating around. So you expect me to believe like an astronaut who's floating around in the space station has to avoid 24 hours a day from getting his foot caught on one of these wires and accidentally pulling a wire out of the wall, right? You would figure if you're floating around and there's all these wires hanging and dangling, it would lead to a lot of situations where astronauts get their feet caught, right? And pull wires out of the computer and out of the walls and shit. You would think it would be easier to have all that stuff tucked away behind panels. So the electricity in your house and in your car, it's tucked away, right? In your car, you don't have all the electrical components just hanging out and dangling about. But in the space station, it's perfectly acceptable to have everything hanging and dangling about like that. And they never upgrade any of this old technology, which looks highly, highly out of date going into 2026.
I think the best way to show what that makes me feel is to just show up.
So he was asked how Thanksgiving makes him feel, and he couldn't come up with an answer. So he just decides to start hugging everyone. Check it out.
Meal together. How does that make you feel?
How does it make you feel?
I think the best way to show what that makes me feel is
he thinks the best way to show what it makes him feel
just show up.
It was with hugs. Everybody hug. Oh, how totally not cringy. That's super, super fucking not cringy. How does it make you feel to spend Thanksgiving on the space station? Well, I'm going to show for you right now how it makes me feel. And then they all hug and they do a 4-way hug. Got to do every combination of hugging. Going to hug you, and he's got to hug her, and you guys got to hug each other. Do every combination possible and a 4-way hug. Make sure to let everybody know how much you guys love each other, how you're such good friends and colleagues. You're so happy to be here on the space station. This is what they're thankful
Love you
for.
guys. Yeah. And from all of us aboard the International Space Station, we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving from space. May you spend it with your friends and family, enjoy the good food, and appreciate all the great things that we have in our lives. Thank you.
So they put out this video to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. But what did they really do that day? What space work did they do before they made this video, after they made this video? What tests, what experiments are they even doing at this point that haven't already been conducted by other crews? See what I mean? Year after year after year. We're here on the space station, spending another day up here. Yeah, but what are you doing? We're floating around, telling you what it's like to live on the space station. That's what the last crew did. That's what they've been doing for like 20 years or whatever. Why are you even up there doing that anymore? They're still doing it. Now watch, now that they're going to end the space station video, everyone's going to float away in an opposite direction.
Thank you so much.
There they go. Ah, gotta love
International
NASA.
Space Station.
2026 we're going into, and this is what they're using to fool the public still. The same shit that they've been putting out for like 20 years. So space station technology doesn't improve. And they just keep doing the same shit year after year after year while collecting billions of our tax dollars. Whatever, I guess. I'm like one of the only guys in the world who even points at it and calls it out. Davey D says, super fake station. Yeah, get back to work, right? Do that important space work and then show it to us, right? Even the space work, like when they go out on spacewalks, it's always shit that they're just pretending to work. Like I've seen on their fake spacewalks, you'll have an astronaut with like a piece of like tubing, and they look like they're trying to like unhook this piece of tubing or reconnect a piece of tubing while they're floating outside the space station. So they can actually put out some fake busy work. But then in the next spacewalk video, it's the same shit. An astronaut looking like he's connecting some tubing. 5 years later, you're like, let's see what the astronauts are doing. Oh, they're still connecting pieces of tubing outside the space station. So even the work that they do is just repeated bullshit over and over, right? To make it like they're working on the space station. Trim Reaper says, do you think after the show I could get a hug or something? I will give everyone a virtual hug right now. Everyone who's watching right now, bring it in. Bring it in. Hug your laptop or your phone, right? So we're going to do a virtual hug right now. I can't be there to give you a real hug. Everybody right now, I'm sure you could use a hug. Bring it in. We're going to do a collective virtual hug right now. That's ridiculous. A virtual hug? What am I thinking? I bet there's people out there that did the virtual hug along with me. It actually felt good. I actually felt a connection with all of you guys when we virtually hugged. All right. All right. Space station, you guys. You know, we started this channel busting NASA's balls. And here we are 10 years later, still busting NASA's balls. And we're going to bust their balls until they bring down that space station. So in 2030, apparently they're going to decommission the space station and purposely crash it into the ocean. Now, before 2030, we may see a situation where they bring down the space station early. And I'm thinking if they are going to bring down the space station early, they could have some sort of psychological operation where they have to evacuate the crew, or they could even go as far as saying that the crew, there was an issue on board, a rupture on the space station. It was hit by a small meteor, comet, whatever, and that all the space station crew died and it destroyed the space station. They could have some sort of emergency or catastrophe and get rid of the space station even before they decommission it. So one way or the other, the end of the space station is approaching. So it'll either be crashed into the ocean, well, scripted fake crashed into the ocean in 2030, or there might be some scenario before then, like I said, where there's some sort of scripted fake emergency where they have to evacuate everyone or something like that. So don't put it past the powers that be to pull off some sort of operation with the space station before it gets decommissioned. Mike 6 said, I'm a Mog, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. Spaceballs. I sort of remember that movie. Spaceballs is one of those movies that came out when I was a little kid. And when I was a kid, I thought it was funny. And then when I was much older, right, probably in my 30s, I went back and tried to watch it. And it wasn't as funny. It was one of those movies that doesn't stand the test of time. Like, there's still a few parts that are amusing, but it's one of those movies that it doesn't really make me laugh anymore. And so some movies from the past are still good to go back and watch, and you get those nostalgic feels. But last time I went to watch Spaceballs, it was pretty stupid. Thank you very much, Mike 6, for a Spaceballs reference. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. There you go. There's a Spaceballs reference for you. All right. Let's move on to our next clip. So check it out. I'm seeing more and more of these.
The supermarkets are at it again.
These price tags that are digital. And I'm hearing that when people pick something up from the store with these digital price tags, that sometimes on the way to the counter, the checkout counter, the price will increase. So now with these digital price tags, imagine you pick up a product and then the price changes by the time you get to the checkout counter. And now they have cameras looking at you when you pick up these products. So now they can keep track exactly of who's buying what specifically.
Ladies and gentlemen, they seem to be intent on ruining your experience. If we call it an experience, shopping's part of life, isn't it? But at least don't make it completely freaking miserable.
Absolutely crazy, and these signs are already electric, so they don't need to change. And now they've updated them with these. What is the point when they don't have security to stop shoplifters? Paper ones work just fine. Paper ones are these. Why have they updated them with that?
Oh, that right there, the old digital pricing. Maybe that lady hasn't heard about dynamic pricing.
Digital pricing that can change throughout the day. Oh, we're getting a rush of people? Let's digitally increase all these prices. Oh, the store's dead right now? All right, now we'll digitally decrease the prices a bit. See?
This is the idea of supply and demand. This is the idea that prices can be changed in real time, live. So if something's going low in stock and lots of people want it, supply and demand, they can simply put the price up there and then. Those old price tags, the written ones, that's so 2024. That's so pre-Rona. Yeah, now it's about dynamic pricing, and you better believe it's not to benefit you.
And also these. And what the fuck is this?
Definitely looks like a camera. So we know that they have the camera above your head, right? Keeping track, and that's there for security, catch people stealing and whatnot. But this right here, this is just straight up to see who's buying what. This is how they can track all your purchases. Keep track of who buys what when, right? They can get a more detailed look at your face, stuff like this. So your data is worth money. If they can figure out what you buy, when you buy, then they can target you with specific ads tailored just for you. So your data and stealing your data and selling your data is a big business. This is just another feature being rolled out to show you that you're always on camera, always being spied upon, and people are actively taking this data and using it against you.
I've never seen this in a supermarket before, but there's loads of them. They're on everyone. It's just fucking weird. You expect to think that's not watching me? Okay.
What in the name of friggery is that? Well, this is.
Yeah, see, even if you paid in cash, they can still have you on camera buying certain items and log that into a database, whatever. So, and as we know, they're slowly phasing cash away. I think they just got rid of the penny, right?
This is quite new, actually. I've looked into this a little bit. These cameras, like literally on the shelving now. Yeah, it's not enough that your shopping experience is cameraed up everywhere else above you, and now they want you walking through with your trolley on weighing scales or doing all the work yourself with self-checkouts. Not enough with all of that. No.
What sucks is when a store has the self-checkout, but then they have it like it's down or it's not working. And then they only have like 2 registers open and there's gigantic lines, right? So a lot of these stores are understaffed. And then if anything goes wrong with the self-checkout and they shut it down, they'll just have like 2 checkout lines open. And there's these gigantic lines and everyone's waiting. They're all pissed off, right? Yeah, going to the store has become a huge pain in the ass. And it's like they're making it an even bigger pain in the ass on everyone.
Now there's these freaking cameras in the actual aisles right in front of you. But worry ye not, guys. Yeah, apparently the small print on these cameras is basically telling you that they're only there to check the stock.
Look at this, on the camera itself. Shelf edge cameras are used to help us understand stock levels. They do not capture images of customers. Oh, okay. So if I have a camera lens pointed at you, and you can clearly see that the camera lens is pointed at you, and then I say, oh, don't worry. This camera lens is totally not capturing your image right now. Yeah, you're looking directly into the camera lens, but have no fear. It's not recording you. It's just keeping track of the stock of the shelves. Yeah. So even though when you pick something up off this shelf and this lens is staring you right in the face, it's not taking your picture. We promise. That's why we're including the text on the camera. See? It says it's not taking your picture. You can trust the text on the camera that's taking your picture, that it's not taking your picture, guys, right? Why would they lie about that?
They're not recording you guys, so don't worry about it, okay? But then it got me thinking as I looked into this a little bit more, because some of the promotional videos about these little cameras say exactly the same thing. They're just
okay. When you buy something, that's how they can keep track of how much stock there is, right? And employees, when they're restocking shelves, they can see if a certain item is almost out of stock or completely out of stock. So you can physically see when an item needs to be restocked. And then when an item is bought and sold, then it's in the system that X amount of that product have been sold. And then that will send the signal that you need to buy more. So before these cameras were there, they figured out how to restock their fucking shelves, right? And they somehow efficiently kept their store shelves stocked before there were all these little cameras stuck on the shelf. So now they're going to play this game like they need to stick this camera on the shelf to make sure that the shelves are stocked. A nice lie.
It's there to record the stock, to help with stocking levels. And as I sit there thinking about it, I'm like, well, to date, the thing that companies do generally in regards to their stock is when something's bought, it goes through the till, therefore it goes through the software, and they know how many has gone through, right? And it's that, along with staff and the ability to look at things, that has controlled that.
Exactly. That's what I just said. That's how they've kept the store stocked for all these years before there were cameras everywhere on everything, right? So their lie that they need that camera there to keep these shelves stocked, it's a total lie. They're most definitely getting images of shoppers and cataloging that data into their database.
All the way up until today. But now they're saying they want these cameras and this technology right directly in the aisles to help them with stocking levels. All of a sudden, at a time when AI, slop, when the robots, when all of this technology is coming into play right at that time. But as the small print says, guys, don't worry. It's not recording you. It's just recording the stock, okay?
Yeah, that's like, hey, don't worry that the government is allowed to spy on anyone and everyone. You should only worry if you are a bad guy or a terrorist, right? If you're not a terrorist, then you shouldn't have any reason to worry about the government spying on you because you're not doing anything wrong. You have nothing to worry about, right? So rest assured, these cameras don't matter. And right? So it's the same sort of lie. They just want you to accept it and just consider yourself not really important enough to be spied upon. Well, I'm not important, so why would they spy on me? You might feel like you're not important, but your data is still worth money. Figuring out what you buy, when you buy, is worth money to someone.
And on of course, a completely separate note, it's not like big data is now the new gold, right? And capturing data, capturing your behavior, capturing what you do at times, like when you're shopping, including your behavior and what you do. It's not like that.
Yeah, like the Patriot Act, right? Bartholomew. You should like that there's a such thing as the Patriot Act, because that means the government is actively monitoring our phones and our communications with each other, actively looking for possible terrorists so that they can preemptively stop terrorist attacks. That's a good thing, right? So as long as you're not a terrorist looking to do something terrible, then you should have no problems with possibly being spied on, right? Because it's a good thing that they're spying on everyone to make sure that no bad guys do bad stuff. So as long as you're not a bad guy planning to do bad stuff, you should think it's wonderful that there's a such thing as the Patriot Act.
Isn't worth the gold too. It's not like that. Capturing that sort of data isn't the new gold. No. We'll just focus on the small print, guys. Ta-ta.
So
The supermarkets are at it.
So you got the little supermarket.
Again, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So that was just a short video clip I thought you guys might find interesting. Grand Wizard says they are putting up flock cameras in the middle of nowhere now. We are a society under surveillance. You have no privacy wherever you go. If you want privacy, you have to create your own privacy. And good luck with that. Because now they're already in your home looking at you through your TV screen, through your smart refrigerator, your smart appliances, your Alexa's listening to you, right? So all these new technological gadgets and gizmos have microphones and cameras now that are keeping track of you. I'm sure there are cameras in the public restrooms as well, right? They aren't going to come out and admit that those ones are there because that's technically illegal. But I'm sure there are people out there that have installed those so that they can get a peek at you while you're doing your bathroom business for their own sick enjoyment. Let's see what the recent news from President Trump is. He said something about cutting out income tax.
And I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. We have a country that we can be very proud of. I was with the King of Saudi Arabia, and he said, you know, sir, last year you had a country that was a dead country. We thought it was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
He was hanging out with the King of Saudi Arabia, and the King of Saudi Arabia told him he has the hottest country in the world. Ooh! Congratulations, President Trump. That's really awesome that you hung out with the King of Saudi Arabia, right? These dictators that treat the population like they're scum and slaves, right? Who rule with an iron fist. Yeah, you hung out with them and they told you that you have the hottest country around right now. Awesome! That's such great news for us debt wage slaves at the bottom, right? Doesn't that news improve your guys' life? To find out that Trump hung out with the King of Saudi Arabia, and the King of Saudi Arabia thinks that the USA is the hottest country right now. Excellent news. So this whole economy collapsing thing is obviously an illusion because the country's hotter than ever, according to the King of Saudi Arabia.
And it's true. And we're going to be having close to $20 trillion invested. That's record setting by 10 times. Nobody's ever had anything like it. We're building plants. We're building factories. All
right, this Trump right here looks like he has a solid black eye. This is a weird looking Trump right here. It's like his eyes are just black slits. Same thing. They only give us the option for 720. So President Trump, nobody's got a 4K camera on him. Space station doesn't have a 4K camera. Imagine that. The fake space station, they use the low quality 720. And then the president, which they use AI versions of this man to dupe the public, you get some 720 Trump. Gee, why don't we get some 4K Trump? I'd like to take a closer look at this fucking black eyeball here.
factories, AI plants, the whole thing with
straight up, dude, that is a black eyeball. There is no whites of his eyes. That just looks fucking weird.
Artificial intelligence. I don't know the word. I've never liked the word artificial. I don't know what artificials are. I think they ought to change the name. I've always said it's a lousy name to have, artificial anything, but it's a big business.
Well, I got to hear that again.
Factories, auto factories, AI plants, the whole thing with artificial intelligence. I don't know the word. I've never liked the word artificial. I don't know what artificials are. I think they ought to change the name. I've always said it's a lousy name to have, artificial anything, but it's a big business.
We're investing money into artificial intelligence. I personally, I don't like the term artificial. I think that we should change it. I think a much better term would be authentic intelligence, awesomely authentic intelligence. It's way better than the word artificial. So we are definitely going to be investing more and more of your tax dollars into awesome, authentic intelligence, none of this artificial stuff. And of course, we're going to be running these AI technology centers with nothing but the finest Trumptricity. Once we have AI running on Trumptricity, you're going to see major changes taking place across this country for the better. All right. I already got China on the phone. They're trying to get involved with this awesome, authentic intelligence that we have going on. China trying to get a deal in place to obtain some of our Trumptricity. Let me tell you what, we're going to make them pay a hefty price. We're going to charge China double the price for Trumptricity. We're gonna make billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and scratch that. We're talking trillions now. In 2026, we're no longer talking billions. We're going to be talking trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions. And there's nothing artificial about that. There you go.
And we're building more. We're leading China by a lot. We're leading everybody by a lot. We make the best military equipment in the world, and they're ordering it at numbers that nobody's ever seen before. But we're doing better than we've ever done before. We have the stock markets just hit for the 48th time an all-time high during the 9 months that I've been here, a little more than 9 months now.
We're doing better than we ever have before. You're hearing more and more people talk about how they're struggling to survive, struggling to pay the bills and stay afloat. More and more people are saying that they work full-time and still can't make ends meet. This is proof that everyone's doing better than they ever have. The stock market hitting all-time highs. So right now, you have the stock market doing better than it ever has. And this is directly tied to the fact that I am the greatest president that there ever was. The lousy Democrats, they stole the last election, but they were unable to steal the last election, of course. There's two elections ago, the Democrats stole it. But this last one, we, of course, prevailed. They were unable to steal the election out from underneath us. America, you chose the best, and right now you're getting the best results. We're seeing a stock market at higher levels than we've ever seen in the past. You got hardworking people across America who can't afford to survive right now. This is how you know that the economy is doing wonderful.
And so we have the hottest stock market ever. That's a big thing for 401ks and all of the millions of people with jobs and 401ks. Everybody participates in that. But it's 48 times in a little bit less than 10 months. 48 times we hit an all-time high. And I think we're going to continue because when these factories that we're building from all
Doesn't this make anyone else feel weird that you have this black eye slit Trump right here? Like, is this like an AI version of Trump? Is this an imposter wearing a mask? Something don't seem right about this version of Trump right here. Sounds a little different than usual.
over the world they're coming because of tariffs. I think because of November 5th, the election result, but because of tariffs. And we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars like we've never done before. And some of that's going to go back in the form of a sort of dividend to our people, but much of it's going to go toward reducing debt. And what it really goes for, and even better than the money we're taking in, is the fact that nobody's attacking our companies and taking them out, stealing them like they've been for many years. Because if they do that, they have to pay a tariff as they make products and sell them into our country. So we made deals with Japan. We made deals with South Korea. We made deals with the European Union, where they pay us hundreds of billions of dollars. And they participate. They're now building plants. Honda is building plants, and they're all every car company from all over the world virtually.
We made a deal with all these countries, and they are going to hand over billions of dollars. They're making plants. We made a deal with Japan. Honda is making plants. We're talking billions and billions of dollars in which you are not going to get any of. If you're lucky, maybe we'll send you out maybe we'll send you a check if you're lucky. Maybe we'll send you a stimulus check if you beg. Get down on your knees right now and beg the greatest president of all time to stimulate the economy and send you a stimulus check. Right now, we're getting billions and billions of dollars from these other countries who want a piece of our lovely Trumptricity. And this is a great time to be alive in America. We're doing better than we ever have. Stock market's hitting highs. Homelessness is increasing through the roof. There has never been a greater time to be alive in the history of the world than right now.
Is building plants now in the United States because they don't want to pay the tariffs. So there's never been anything quite like it. It's been amazing. So we're taking in, think of it, hundreds of billions. Next year, it'll be $1 trillion or more. But we're taking in all this money at the same time protecting our country. And we're respected again. They actually respect us. And they made the deals. I mean, they respect us, but they pay us, as an example, Japan, $650 billion. South Korea, $350 billion. European Union, $950 billion. And they are building plants now in the United States because they don't want to pay tariffs.
I'm just going to start naming countries and throwing out numbers. Madagascar, they paid us $333 million. Ethiopia, they sent us $250 billion. Australia, they're going to be sending over $66.6 trillion. We're doing a lot of awesome things. These countries, they're sending over their money, and we're going to send them over some Trumptricity. But what we're going to do is we're going to charge them a tariff on the Trumptricity. We're going to tariff all of the Trumptricity expenditures. We're literally going to make sextillions and sextillions of dollars. Sextillion is, of course, even more than a trillion, more than a billion. Sextillion is a lot of money. We are set to make multiple sextillions in profit from this new deal. Oh, tell us more, Trump. This sounds like all of us are going to be doing way better, knowing that you are collecting all that money from these other countries. Please, name some more countries and throw out some more numbers.
So this is one of the biggest things economically that's never happened. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And over the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially be cutting, and maybe cutting out completely, but we'll be cutting income tax. Could be almost completely cutting it because the money we're taking in is going to be so large.
Cutting income tax, as in we won't have to pay taxes? I'll believe that when I see it, Mr. Trump. So apparently Trump wants us to believe that they're taking in so much money that income tax might eventually go away. Wow. Yeah, like I said, I'll believe that when I see it.
And yet other countries who have been ripping us off for many, many years, and many years they've just been ripping us to shreds. China would take in $600, $700 billion a year.
Either 600 or 700 billion. Give or take 100 billion. It's either 600 billion or 700 billion. One of those. Don't sweat the details. He might be off by 100 billion.
Build their military. And now we have a fair deal with China. We just met with President Xi. We have a great relationship. We have a fair deal. We take in a lot of money in the form of tariffs.
We have a very fair deal with China. They send us 600 or 700 billion, and we don't kick their ass and take away their Trumptricity. So we have a wonderful deal with China. They send over all of their money, and we, of course, let them live and continue being China. It's a wonderful deal that they have with China, or China sends all the money to Trump.
But so many, even our friends, I mean, European Union, they're our friends. Japan, they're our friends. South Korea is our friends. They're now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars.
Wow. So everyone who's friends with the United States just hands over hundreds of billions willy-nilly in order to stay friends. The United States is friends. Hold on.
So many, even our friends. I mean, European Union, they're our friends. Japan, they're our friends.
The Europeans are our friends. All of the European Union are our friends. Japan's our friend. That's why Japan sent us $600 billion, because they're our friend. They're our BFF. We wouldn't be friends with Japan if they weren't currently sending us billions and billions of dollars. In fact, the countries that don't send us billions and billions of dollars, they're not our friends. We are not friendly with those countries. For instance, Venezuela, they're not sending over billions of dollars right now. So, of course, they are on our no friends list. All right. These are countries we consider to be not friendly with because they're not handing over billions of dollars to me.
South Korea is our friends. They're now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're also paying tariffs to come in. We're not paying tariffs to go in there, by the way. They're paying tariffs, but we're not. So that's a total reversal. But
they're paying tariffs. We're not paying tariffs. Who pays the tariffs? They do. Who doesn't pay the tariffs? We don't. Who started the tariffs? Me. Why did I do the tariffs? So that we could make more money. What's happening? We are making more money. Why are we making more money? Because of the tariffs. Who pays the tariffs? China pays the tariffs. Who does not pay the tariffs? We don't pay the tariffs. You see how this works? It's a brilliant plan. Creepy Joe was not smart enough to come up with a brilliant plan to tariff China. And that's why everything was so bad when he was president. And that's why everything is so much better now that I am your president. Things are looking so much better. The stock market higher than ever. And it's all because we tariffed China's ass.
We are benefiting like they used to benefit against us, but we're benefiting even more. So I just want to thank everybody for making.
All right. There you go. So there's your latest from Black Eyeball AI Trump. There you go. Good times. All right, y'all. Well, I pretty much got through all the clips that I planned to show you guys tonight. And I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. And my dog is also hungry. He's over there licking his dish, wanting some food. And I think he wants to go out for a walk. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Wake 'em Up Wednesday. And I, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank all of you guys who have continued to support this channel. Not only, are you hanging out with me here in the stream, but you guys are giving me ideas to perform comedic routines and whatnot. So you guys have become a part of my show, and I couldn't do this show without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, you guys are the greatest YouTube audience, the greatest audience on YouTube. And I had a great time tonight hanging out with you guys. And so I will see all you guys again in the next stream or the next video. So thank you to every single person who participated in the live chat tonight, and extra big thank yous to the super chat donations. You guys are helping keep this channel afloat. And we're going to head into 2026.
and we're going to continue rocking and rolling and doing what we do. So with that said, this is Jake the Awake and my dog Ralph, and we are going to sign out, but we will be back again. We will see you next time. In fact, I'll try and do another stream possibly this weekend, like Saturday. So with that said, have a wonderful night wherever you are in this world, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. Love you guys. Good night.